So gemstones have been used dating back thousands of years, multiple cultures. A video that we did quite a while ago was a video on Aaron's breastplate. Today we're going to make our own version of Aaron's breastplate with our own hypotheses on what stones they actually had in there.
I like it.
So Rob, I actually made...
You did not make a breastplate.
Yeah, I made a breastplate. Here we go.
Wow! Dude, that looks righteous. That looks awesome.
This is not an exact replica, of course. Aaron's breastplate was more of like armor, it looked like. There was a back piece. We're talking about the gemstones, so we got the basic idea right here.
Dude, I love it. It looks awesome.
All right, Rob. Take a look.
Okay, so the first stone that we're talking about is called Odem, at least in the original Hebrew. All right, let's get this guy open. Ooh, okay. Way back in the day, Odem, the Hebrew word, meant red stone. And it's theorized that it was named after a nearby Mount Odem, which was a volcano.
Well, that would make sense, yeah. You know, Odem meaning red stone. That's how gemstones were defined back in the day.
Yeah, well, that's all you got to work with.
In the vast, you know, scientific community, gemology is fairly new.
So we've got a few red stones here. We've got Carnelian, a variety of chalcedony, which is a microcrystalline quartz. Sard, which is very similar to Carnelian in almost every way. Sard tends to be much darker. And we have a little sphere of ruby. Ruby is the most famous red gemstone after all. So we've got a couple contenders. One thing that's important to remember is that these stones were engraved with the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. In biblical times, engraving would have been very difficult for ruby with the tools that they had access to. Ruby, it's a variety of corundum. It is a 9 on the Mohs scale of hardness. It's not like they had diamond bits.
No.
If they were able to engrave on it, I'm gonna say it wasn't corundum.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but ruby is not really found in that area.
Ruby wasn't really found in that area. What was really popular was carnelian, especially in ancient Rome. They liked to use carnelian to create wax seals because hot wax doesn't stick to carnelian. It's also soft enough to engrave. So my vote is carnelian.
I am going to have to agree. Make a ball of the tack here. We'll smoosh it.
Good form.
So I'm a little unsure on how much this is going to stick. So I think the best course of action is to actually lay it down.
Yeah, we'll be assembling flat.
I think that's best.
This is probably how they would have done it.
Yeah. Box number 2.
Box number 2.
This box is named Pitta.
Pitta.
Pitta. Interesting. Oh, I love the cut of that.
Oh, that's a wild cut.
Wow. Guys, look at that.
Oh my gosh, I love that. This is the next stone, Pitta in Hebrew, which is described as a yellowish green stone, which to me describes the color of peridot. But almost all modern translations translate Pitta into topaz.
Well, that doesn't really fit the green bill anymore,
No,
does it?
topaz rarely forms green.
I believe there's a little loss in translation here. So topaz from ancient times, I believe, is from the island of Topazios. So the island of Topazios is actually called Zabargad now, but topaz, as we know it today, is not actually found on the island, but peridot is.
Yeah, plus topaz is harder than peridot, which would make it harder to engrave. Whereas peridot falls in that sweet spot, 6.5 on the Mohs scale, right below where it will be affected by the tools of the time. So I would say that the topaz they were working with was more likely peridot.
I agree.
Beautiful.
Box number 3.
All right, box number, oh, my turn. Okay, Baraket is stone number 3. I see a lot of variety in here.
I don't. 2 colors again.
Yeah.
We have a dodecahedron crystal right
That's
here.
really awesome.
100% garnet. I think this is garnet too.
I think so.
And then we have emerald.
Yeah, so many sources say that Baraket, that Hebrew word, evolved etymologically into smaragdos, which is an ancient word for emerald.
However, the King James Bible translates Baraket into carbuncle, which was an ancient term for almandine garnet. So the word Baraket actually translates into lightning or flash, but I think flash is on both of these.
Yeah, so the Midrash Rabbah is a collection of Jewish texts, and they sort of flesh out some of the details about the tribes, including which stone went to which tribe, and the colors of their flags and things like that.
And according to the Midrash Rabbah, the third stone stood for Levi's tribe.
Right.
And Levi's flag was 1/3 black, 1/3 white, and 1/3 red. There's no green.
Yeah.
So
So you could take that as like a lean towards the red option.
it's kind of a context clue, you
But
know?
like many biblical commentaries differ on whether it's a garnet or an emerald.
I'm gonna pick garnet.
Okay, same.
All right, 25% done.
Cool.
Box number 4. No feck.
No feck. Wait a minute.
How'd you get back in there?
Okay, so emerald's
got an
back on the
emerald
table.
in
Okay,
there.
so you get a second shot actually.
So it's important to keep in mind that gemstones of this time were not only named after their color, but they were named after where they were found.
Right, and turquoise is one of the earliest documented gemstones used for adornment, and one of the oldest known mining locales of turquoise is the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt.
And the Sinai Peninsula was actually called Mafkat by the ancient Egyptians, which means country of turquoise. And it's thought by some that Mafkat evolved into Nofek.
Also, the Midrash Rabbah, coming in clutch again, says that this stone belonged to the tribe of Judah and that his flag was the color of the sky.
Scholars have kind of split this 50-50. Half are in the school that this stone was turquoise, half are in the school that this stone was emerald, and they were both widely used at the time.
But is the sky green?
The sky is not
No.
green.
So we're gonna lean turquoise for this particular stone.
Oh yeah. Next box.
All right, let's do it. Sapphire.
It's up here.
Okay, now I know what you're thinking at home. Sapphire, S-A-P-P-I-R. That's like a hop, skip, and a jump away from sapphire. It's not that straightforward. So we do have sapphire here. Nice little double termination.
very nice.
Very pretty rough specimen. And then on the left, we have a rich blue cabochon of lapis lazuli.
Super vibrant, beautiful. It's got those pyrite inclusions in it. Hardness is a factor here. So if you didn't know, sapphire is a variety of corundum. Ruby is also a variety of corundum. They're going to have an identical level of hardness. So it would be extremely difficult to carve something like sapphire, whereas lapis is 5.5 on the Mohs scale of hardness. That would
Much
be
more carvable.
much easier to carve. Lapis is a metamorphic rock composed of lazurite, calcite, and pyrite. It's known for its striking blue color, and it's also very abundant around the area where this was made.
And it's been mined since 4000 BC.
Even though the King James Bible translates sapphire as sapphire, most scholars agree that they were actually talking about lapis. This is looking pretty nice.
Yeah,
All right, the show must move on.
let's do it.
Yahalom.
Yahalom.
Ooh. Ooh, very nice. Very different.
Yeah, Yahalom in the modern Hebrew means diamond.
Absolutely. And that's what we got right
Yeah,
here.
and that's what we've got over here. We've got a lovely little diamond,
teensy
little guy. The problem with that is a hardness problem.
A big one.
Not only was apparently diamond not available at the time that this breastplate would have been assembled, but even if it were, there is no material on Earth that they could have used to engrave a diamond.
Diamond is actually 4 times harder than corundum. So what do we got here? We got
Looks like
different, these
another
are very
chalcedony.
different.
Way back in the day, Yahalom originally meant a stone known for its hardness in
Okay.
particular, which of course, it makes sense that it would evolve into diamond, the hardest material on Earth. But since diamond was not available and was impossible to work at that time, what else could they be talking about?
Well, you got to look at the things that were around there at the time.
So the Midrash Rabbah says that Zebulon's stone was the color of the moon and was Yahalom.
Okay, I see where you're going here.
Yeah. So these are not crazy, crazy hard,
No.
but they are harder than an iron file.
Yeah.
We have Jasper and chalcedony, which are both microcrystalline quartz. Quartz being a 7 on the scale of hardness. So plenty hard.
So the difference between jasper and chalcedony is jasper is opaque and chalcedony is translucent. The reason that jasper is opaque is because it has more of a granular structure than chalcedony.
So Jasper tends to be a little bit harder. We're looking for something that's pale, like the moon. We're looking for something known for its hardness, and we have to use something that was available at the time.
I'm thinking jasper.
I'm thinking Jasper as well.
Let's go. All right, next box.
Yeah. Leshem.
Leshem, okay.
Whoa, those are pretty. Leshem's a winner, I'll tell you that.
So obviously we have some red zircon here in the middle. You can tell immediately because of its sub-adamantine luster. I believe we have a zircon here as well. So this is faceted. Something a little out of left field here.
Yeah, amber.
Amber.
I'm like, how do you confuse these guys? So some translations identify this stone as Jacinth, which is red zircon, but we have a couple of gripes about that. The King James Version translates Leshem into Ligure, which comes from Lyngurium, which is like this mythical stone that was warm in color, was thought to form from the urine of a lynx. It also was said to possess this property of attracting small particles, which sounds sort of fantastical. So what else can we look to? Amber. It's warm in color. You could maybe say that this came from P. And when you rub it, it has the property of attracting small particles.
That is interesting. Zircon will not do that. And that's our reasoning for why we think amber could be what was once known as Lyngurium.
Or Ligure.
Chevo. Ooh.
Whoa, the banding. That looks like agate to me.
Yeah. So agate's a kind of chalcedony, and it's defined by this distinct banding. It could be different colors. Right here we've got shades of gray. It seems like here we've got shades of kind of like brown, some yellow in there.
Very earthy. This is a very straightforward one. So pretty much all subsequent translations from the Hebrew Chevo come out as Amethyst or agate, which was itself named after the Amethyst River.
Widely available, easy to carve, slam dunk. This one's gonna be fun.
Okay. Oh, that's a big box.
It's a big box.
Alama.
Alama.
Oh, dude.
Purple.
Winner.
Whoa, what?
Winner.
This is awesome.
Oh my God.
That is a fantasy cut if
What
I've ever seen
a
one.
carving job.
I love when lapidaries do this carving on one side and keep the other side flat because you're supposed to look through it like a window.
So we're dealing with amethyst.
Amethyst, absolutely.
For this particular
lots
box.
of history with the amethyst. So amethyst is a variety of quartz. It's colored by iron and irradiation. That in conjunction creates the purple color that we see.
Amethyst is up there with turquoise as far as ancient gemstones that have been used for ages. So I'm not worried about the availability of this stone in this instance. I'm also not worried because, like with agate, pretty much all translations from the Hebrew wind up with amethyst.
Yeah.
And the Midrash Rabbah says that Naphtali's stone was alama, and it was the color of diluted wine.
Maybe this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're pretty confident in saying it's amethyst.
This is another quartz variety added to this, which I think speaks to the availability and abundance of quartz. Quartz, 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 quartz.
Lots of quartz. Tarsis.
Tarsis.
Oh.
Yeah, these all kind of look like the same guy.
That's something you're not going to expect.
No, I was not expecting that. Looks like we've got some debate to settle. So we've got pearl and mother of pearl. We've got aquamarine, which is a variety of beryl, and wire silver.
Silver actually grows in kind of like, it's almost like hairs.
Tendrils.
Tendrils, that's a great descriptor.
Most translations translate Tarsis as beryl, and we're not really sure why. So Tarsis is used several times in the Bible. It's used in a context that suggests that whatever Tarsis was had an unusual or a unique luster, which is why we've got pearl here, because pearl has
its own luster.
Pearlescent luster. And you can see it right here in this beautiful shell.
Pearl fits that description, but pearls would have been extremely difficult to get a hold of during that time.
So rare and so expensive. Beryl is what Tarsis is usually translated to.
So a couple of translators have translated, Tarsis as color of the sea, so it's easy to understand why the blue variety of beryl would be put into Aaron's breastplate under that.
I mean, its name, aquamarine, literally means ocean water, seawater.
In Jeremiah, Tarshish was known as a location that had a silver mine. So could it be silver?
It definitely has luster. Yeah, it's not too many gemstones have metallic luster.
No.
And silver as a metal does, and it would have been available, and they had a name for the spot. So that's actually a really interesting wild card suggestion.
They could have engraved it as well.
Oh my gosh. But color of the sea, I think, is just too on the nose for me. Plus, all the translations are kind of aligned here. So for my money, it's probably aquamarine, but I love this idea.
Yeah.
It's really intriguing.
We're gonna pick aqua, but we're not confident about it. Box 11, it's been a journey.
11 of 12, let's go. Shoham. Ooh.
Interesting.
Black. So this is not obsidian, otherwise these broken parts would be much more glassy
You
looking.
see a lot more
because it's glass.
fracture. Yeah.
It's not jet, jet is wood.
Jet
is fossilized wood.
and it's primarily found in the UK.
I'm gonna lock in onyx.
Onyx, yes.
This is another form of chalcedony.
So the Midrash Rabbah references this stone as being very dark in color, and this was widely used and valuable in that area at that time.
Several ancient translations of the Bible call this beryl, but modernized versions are all referring to this as onyx.
Yeah, they're in agreement there. So onyx is a pretty clear favorite. We're gonna go with onyx. The time has come to complete Aaron's breastplate. Yashpe.
Yashpe.
Oh.
Yashpe eventually became Jasper. A lot of languages use the J as like a Y sound. So why do we have chrysoprase here as well and not just Jasper?
That's a good question. For that, you have to look at other parts of the Bible, specifically the book of Revelation, which contains many entries about Jasper. So in Revelation, the stone they talk about transmits light and it's green. That's not very typical of Jasper. So many scholars suggest that the stone that they're talking about in Revelation is actually chrysoprase. So is the stone that's in Aaron's breastplate actually chrysoprase?
So, well, here's the thing. Revelation was written way after Exodus, which is where Aaron's breastplate debuts. Also the fact that Exodus was originally written in Hebrew and Revelation was written in Greek. We cannot rely on Revelation to tell us what was in the breastplate. The Midrash Rabbah says that this stone was the stone of Benjamin, and his flag had many colors on it.
Well, that doesn't
Like
really,
all 12.
That doesn't really equal this, does it?
No, in fact, it's closer to Jasper, especially this little guy, which has a nice little color splatter
When
on
you
it.
think about it, that does have a very wide.
I see reds, I see oranges, I see browns,
I
I
even see
see...
green in there. So do we have our last stone?
I think let's lock it in.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Look at that.
Oh, that looks really great, dude. Well constructed,
You want to put
I
it
must
on?
say. Oh, can I put it on?
Put it on.
Whoa!
Oh, check it
Dude.
out.
I feel like I could walk into anywhere wearing this thing.
That is so cool.
This is a pretty serious piece of hardware, man. This looks amazing.
Is it heavy?
No, dude, because you made it out of foam, it's actually super lightweight. It only-
Imagine if it was solid gold, though.
Oh gosh, yeah, that'd be wicked heavy. It's so eclectic.
We got blue, we got green, red, brown, white, purple.
So these are all stones that were available at the time of the writing of Exodus.
Of course.
They're all soft enough to be engraved upon using the tools of the time. I feel pretty good with this list.
So let's take a closer look at all of them. So obviously we're not biblical scholars, we're gemologists. These are our best guesses based on the knowledge that we have.
Yeah, and keep in mind that time changes, languages change, we've got multiple translations. It's like impossible to know for sure. We're just using our best judgment with the pile of research that we've done. But let us know what you think down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future videos.
See ya.